Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, the Spyker organization. Yes, it was back in December of 2014. We were talking about this manufacturer as as a manufacturer that was dying, going into bankruptcy, and then Lord knows what could happen after that if it goes into insolvency, and then folks come in and pick the carcass clean like a dead carcass in the desert, or a consortium group could come in and buy it and split up all the actual assets of the organization. There was going to be a lot of just nothing but terrible times. Even if somebody actually bought the company and tried to revive it, it may not look that well. But the Dutch government and the Dutch court system probably had a little bit of a different plan as their application for bankruptcy was spit out. And apparently, moving forward, they're going to put them in what we call in the United States Chapter 11, which is basically hooking up with all of Spyker's creditors, work out some sort of a payment plan and some dues of paid goods. So it's an interesting time. In fact, according to the Dutch court system, they were never in bankruptcy if they spit this thing out. So an exciting time for the folks over at Spyker. They could, if they could get this back on sure footing and get this company back, we may see brand new Spyker automobiles coming up in 2016, possibly. Start up production again, so we'll wait and see. We'll hear more about this, hopefully very soon. Next up, the Mazda MX5 is going to have a big coming out party here in the United States at the Chicago Motor Show, where they were going to release a tad bit more information about this machine, i.e. the horsepower numbers for this particular automobile. Now, we haven't heard as of yet the actual displacement of the machine as far as the lump's concerned. But Autoblog hooked up and found some leaked information on the old interwebs and found out that the Japanese horsepower numbers are going to come in at 129 brake horsepower and 110 pounds-feet of torque. The U.S. numbers were supposed to come in at 155 brake horsepower. Now, it's little to know whether Mazda actually officially leaked this themselves, or they may be a little bit upset where they really wanted to give this off at the Chicago Motor Show in Chicago, Illinois. But being that show is only a handful of days away, we'll know a whole lot more official stuff, hopefully very soon. Next up on the list, you may remember this particular machine, the Alpine sports car concept from the folks over at Renault and Caterham. Remember that little deal? Renault and Caterham were going to build some high-performance automobiles hooking up together, and then there was a bunch of infighting and how this direction of this vehicle was supposed to go, and then there was a split off, and they said, well, we're still going to work together, but we're going to build our own cars, and then there was a huge brouhaha that actually split them up entirely. Thought that this program was pretty much going to be DOA. Well, apparently that isn't the case, as the folks over at Renault have now released that this particular car, the Alpine sports car concept, aka the A110-50, will be going into production and will see the light of day and hit public highways by 2017. Now, little to anything is known about this particular machine, other than it will be V6 powered, or at least that's the way they were talking, somewhere around 400 brake horsepower. Have yet to hear if that's a hybrid style drivetrain or maybe turbocharged, supercharged. Lord knows what they may have up their sleeve for this particular machine, but stunningly gorgeous automobile. I hope it looks a lot like this when it comes into production. I know they're going to have to take some liberties as far as a concept vehicle, but hopefully it looks pretty close to this. Hopefully we'll be seeing some more official photographs of this machine very soon. And last up on the list, the folks over at Toyota have officially announced that they're throwing their hat into the ring in the World Rally Championship. This is their brand new 2016 Toyota Yaris WRC car. Yes, and they're going to do it just like they've seen it before from the folks over at Volkswagen, who took a year or two to try to get all the bugs worked out of it before they make an official onslaught on the championship stage, which, as we know, for Volkswagen, has been a good move because they've been the top of the tree ever since. In fact, this is going to become some crowded territory for manufacturers with Volkswagen and with Ford M-Sport, and then not to mention Hyundai. Now to have Toyota in the mix, we maybe could see a revelation of what it used to be back in the day. Remember back in the day, like in the late 90s, there was Toyota and Subaru and Mitsubishi and Hyundai and Citroen and Peugeot and, goodness gracious, Skoda. There was a bunch of great manufacturers that were involved in the World Rally Championship. Would love to see that come around again. Now, we don't know too much of anything about this machine other than, well, we haven't even heard a driver lineup, at least as of yet. So it'd be very exciting to see who's going to be switched over or what kind of new blood they may have for the folks over at Toyota. So cannot wait to see this thing testing in anger, hopefully on the old interwebs very soon. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to that Facebook page, I'm going to put up every automotive big game ad up on the old Facebook page. If you want to check them out over there, by the time you see this video, it'll be a day or so after the old big game. So all of them will be up there for you to enjoy if you want to go check them out over there. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.